We are extremely proud of the quality, balanced journalism that CBS 4 News produces.
But we are concerned about one-sided news stories
Plaguing our country.
The sharing of biased and false news has been
extremely dangerous to our democracy.
What's going on? What's going on? All right, you know what time it is. You know what rhyme it is. I'm your gracious host A6. We are live and direct, live in effect. Let me take my microphone down. Probably sound like Doctor Doom on auto tune. What's going on with y'all, man? How y'all feeling? Um, First show we done in about a couple weeks, something like that. Didn't do a show last week. Told y'all to go spend time with them ladies. You know what I'm saying? But we back here this week. It is a Sunday. The weather was pretty decent. I got a chance to take a damn nap today. I feel special. I got a chance to get a little bit of rest. That's always a plus when you get a little bit of rest as a grown man or a grown lady or what have you. But getting a chance to lay your head down and just unwind, man, is always a good thing. What's up with you guys, man? How y'all been? Was good? Was good? We got in the chat here. Alfonso's up in here. What's good, Alfonso? Good to have you here, man. Fred, what it is? What's good? What's good? The truth is here. Yes, indeed. Maud is here too. We got one wrench in the house. That's what it is. Supplanter says, I love our democracy. It's more like it's more like socialism. Uh, Socialism slash fascism. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. It's a little bit of both. This is the most mixed up form of society probably in history because it doesn't admit to being one thing. It tries to pretend to be something else when it's technically supposed to be a whole nother animal. It's got like different elements of each. So there you have it. But we here. Jay Black was good. Was good. Eric, what up? Good to have you here. Everybody hit the like button. Yes, indeed. Let me get my banner up at the bottom. Cool. If you haven't put those tomato seeds in the ground yet, get to it. Yes, indeed. Yeah. you know, start putting them seeds in the soil. The weather's turning around, man. And you know, Maryland had it was a battle back and forth for like, I want to say 4 weeks straight, where one day it would be like 80 degrees, and then the next 4 days it'd be 50, 55, close to 60 or something like that. So you put your summer clothes out and put your winter clothes away, then you got to go back in your winter clothes to try to accommodate the weather. But it's starting to break. It does that every year in Maryland. So those of you who are East Coasters, you already know what it is. We got 4 seasons over here, which it is what it is. Sometimes it can be a little bit of a pain in the neck, but hey, at least we get to experience all four of them, I would say. You know what I mean? But yeah, as far as that goes, drop those seeds in the soil. Um, if you have a problem with like rodents, rabbits or squirrels will come and they'll start kicking up the dirt in order to plant their nuts in your garden, and then the nuts will disrupt the flow or the growth of your plants. So they'll grow a lot slower. Sometimes they won't grow at all because the damn squirrels keep kicking up the soil. So if you had that problem, you could probably go ahead and just plant some of that some catnip. Drop some catnip in your garden and watch the madness begin. Watch it. I told y'all this before. Simple problems call for simple solutions. You got a problem with around here we got rabbits out here, squirrels. We got what are those things called? They look like moles almost. They're not ground. I don't think they're groundhogs. They look like moles almost, but they real fat and they come out and they like vegetables. They love fruits. They love carrots. They love lettuce. Anything you plant, pretty much that's edible, they'll tear it up and they'll come get it when you're not looking. You know what I'm saying? I remember a while ago I had to pop one of them in the ass with a BB gun and tell them to keep out of my damn garden. Hey, don't get mad at me, man. But when it comes to food, you go somewhere else. God damn it. Hey, I ain't got no problem with animals at all, but you ain't gonna be eating my goddamn vegetables. Get your ass out of here. So I said, yeah, I'm not doing that anymore. So I just went ahead and put some catnip. We went ahead and put some catnip outside, and what ended up happening was when we put the catnip out there, that alleviated all of the little rodent problems. The squirrels didn't come nowhere near. The rabbits stayed clear there. The little moles or whatever, they was like, yeah, I'm not going over there because it was like literally a clubhouse for cats. You know, um, there's probably like about three of them, and they just lay around. They just lay there. They stoned to all hell. They probably wouldn't even if a bird or something came through to get busy. They probably wouldn't even do nothing with them because they just laying there stoned. This is zonked, zooted. But yeah, it was like about three or four of them just chilling. You know what I'm saying? So, but it does deter the rodents from coming to your garden. So that is a great solution. I also saw something online. Let me know if anybody has tried this with the garden where you can actually take a goddamn copper wire and you can run the copper wire underneath the ground through uh, the plant holders or the plant boxes that you have or whatever you have, the setup you have. You put holes in them and you run them through there, and it grounds the joint out. And then when you set the poles up, you put a zinc bolt on the top of it, and it creates like an energy field, and that even keeps the bugs and the white moths away. So the white moths, what they'll do is they'll come in and they'll lay eggs or lay little worms and stuff on your greens, and the worms will feed off of the greens. So if you're planting like spinach or something, they'll lay the little white worms on there and they'll just absorb the energy from the tree, not the tree, but the plant pretty much, and they'll dry it out. It'll have low growth, you know what I'm saying? You'll start to notice holes in the leaves and stuff like that. So that's a good idea to deal with those things. You do like a energy field if you would, using copper and then using poles and then using a zinc bolt at the top. You can get zinc bolts from a hardware store. You know what I'm saying? Hey, Gen X is waking up. We're on the move. Okay, that's what it is, man. Some of them are. I think some of them basically plastered in their ways. It's crazy. And you know what's wild about the Gen X thing? I saw somebody had posted a video that said the children that was born in the 80s, like there's a portion of the 80s, the children that were born in were just like a different breed. You know, they were like, not I'm not gonna say smarter, but they were more adept to use their abilities to be awakened than Gen X. Gen X was more like, you know, straightforward, earthly. You know what I mean? Not really into the whole consciousness thing. But there's a lot more children that were born in the '80s that'll basically step up for real and put things or try to move to put things the way they should be or straighten these things out. These issues we're having now. But you know, government, society, you know, the way people think, all of that stuff. You know, it's got to be a balance. Again, we know how the universe works. We know how this reality works. It has to be a balance, if you would, for this reality instead of universe. I say universe because you know it doesn't have to necessarily be like a globe Earth deal for it to be a universe. And universe can basically just be this realm. That's how I pretty much refer to it as. Started my garden today. Fire. Oh damn, the copper wire to aid with farming seems reminiscent of the Crow 777 episode. I actually didn't watch the Crow 777 episode. I did see a rig where a gentleman set it up and he created like an energy field around his garden. But I didn't see that episode. But this is listen, man, this stuff is stuff the ancients used. You know what I mean? The indigenous people of this land used to use techniques like this. It can even we can even go as far as like Africa. You know, where do you think a lot of the copper comes from? A lot of the copper comes from the soil of Africa. Africa is one of the most mineral rich continents on the planet. You know what I mean? So with that said, it's going to be a situation where they're going to be familiar with what to do with those minerals. I would watch Godzilla versus King Kong 2 today. It was very good, man. They were talking about Hollow Earth on there. Listen, yo, some of the stuff that they were showing in that movie, full disclosure is here. 2020 was the end of the deception. Like full, they had to show you everything they've been hiding and everything coming. And if you guys aren't aware, you need to go and watch King Kong versus Godzilla Part 2. They tell you in depth about Hollow Earth. You know what I'm saying? The military dude tried to go hard body. If you remember the Predator episode where the guy Jesse the Body Ventura was had this real hard body, you know what I mean, hard boiled character was like, I ain't got time to bleed. That type of dude, man. And that particular environment, that dude was the first one to get eliminated because he was the furthest one out of touch. And I ain't gonna tell you what happened in the whole movie, but it was an interesting spectrum because they had the little girl who was basically supposed to be reminiscent of the Nicalls. And the Nicalls, for those of you who are aware of the old civilizations, I'm not super adept at this, but I do know for a fact back in the day they were all spiritual and they didn't talk. They used to use communication with telepathy. So she was supposed to be like a descendant of the Nicalls, and she was deaf and she couldn't talk. So she would use sign language and read lips to communicate for people that didn't do sign language. So you know, then they had the lady who was trying to explore what was going on, where she was a skeptic before, but she had seen some things that basically kind of converted her, but she was still on the fence. She knew it wasn't completely false, but she was like, yo, I need to see a little bit more to be completely in tune to what's going on because I don't quite understand this. Then you had this guy that had he looked like Ace Ventura Pet Detective with the shirt he had on. And it's very interesting his dynamic because he was very in tune with nature, but he wasn't on the level of the girl who was one of the Nicoles. So he was, you know, he survived or whatever. But then you had this one this you had the indigenous American looking guy. Um he he was like they call him like a conspiracy theorist basically. So he knew the stuff was real, but he never really he saw some of it, but he was very eager to learn more. So you had like a spectrum of characters, and on the lowest spectrum of consciousness, the character that was the soldier, the dude that was real hard boiled, he was the first one to get eliminated because he was like, "Yo, none of this shit is real. We're gonna do it my way. You don't have any military training," blah, blah, and he got eliminated. And the crazy part is the way they did it when he got eliminated, he was inside the hollow earth. So it was literally everything was flipped around. So the totem pole flipped because when they were above the hollow earth, when they were on the surface, and dude was basically moving around, the lowest on the totem pole was the girl, the little girl, because like you know she was in the call, but the Nicoles weren't above surface anymore. They was below surface. So she was like you know, in society, she was basically like, you know, retard was what they would probably refer to her as if they were being mean. But they, you know, they pretty much see her as handicapped, you know, which is on the bottom of society. But when they flipped it, she had like the highest priority, and the military guy was the lowest. So it's a very interesting spectrum of characters. If you go back and watch that movie, man, it's some good stuff in it. You know what I mean? Great stuff. And they were saying that Godzilla was the protector of nature. That's why when Godzilla moved around, he was literally a force of nature. When he got up to move and went to another area, he would step on cars, he would knock over goddamn bridges, buildings. He didn't give a damn because it's like, yo, you know what I'm saying? I'm a force of nature. When a tornado comes, you don't get mad at the earth for sending a tornado. You know, Godzilla was basically there to protect nature in so many words. And then Kong was supposed to be there to protect the humans. That's what they basically projected, and that's why they were fighting, you know, in the first one. But it was a pretty good movie, man. A lot of interesting stuff. Definitely worth a second watch. Might have to go back and watch it again to catch some things I missed, but I was catching a lot of it up front. You know, even to the point where they had the little girl. She had to open the realm to through like this. It's like a some kind of film, energy film or something like that, and she had to basically cut her way through it to the light and go through. You know, there was an event that happened a long time ago at the bottom of one of the pyramids where Paramount was supposed to be Paramount Pictures. You heard it right. They were supposed to be filming it. They had to get like a shaman lady to calm down the curse. There was like a curse of blockage or something like that. And she calmed it down so they can actually go in. And this was supposed to be all the way underneath one of the pyramids. And when they went underneath, what they found was a whole city underneath the pyramid, like a whole nother city. You know what I'm saying? And this is what they were showing you in the movie. They were literally showing you the exact same thing, the Hollow Earth thing, and the same way that event happened. You know, she was like supposed to be holy because she was one of the calls. So yeah, it was a great movie, man. If you guys aren't familiar with that story about the Hollow Earth and underneath the pyramids and the girl who was actually able to calm the hallway, because it's supposed to be, the story was there was a long hallway and it was a source of light and you couldn't keep going forward in the hallway without feeling like you was about to die. There was something about what was going on inside that hallway, like some kind of blessing or something that kept you out, and she was able to calm the blessing down so that the people could go through with their cameras and such. That's what they was supposed to happen, but they ended up quote unquote never filming it. Now we all know they filmed the damn thing, you just not going to see it. But yeah, there you have it. So if you guys aren't familiar with that, you can look in. There's a video called Spirit Science. Excuse me, it's by Spirit Science. It's called Hidden Human History. It's got a whole lot of information on it. We talked about this a long time ago. It's an hour presentation, and they roll all the belief systems around the world together and how they fit in with different puzzle pieces. They talk about the Nicole, they talk about the Muslims, the Christians, they talk about magic, they talk about demons, all of that stuff. It's crazy. It's really worth the watch though. But Spirit Science has a pretty good channel, and they cover things like the Japanese water research, where they actually found out that water holds memory. They did. They talked about that. There's a lot of cool stuff on that channel, man. I'm telling you, well worth the watch. Electrified fence around your garden. Yep, there you go. Indigo children. Yeah, I think the indigo children were in the cause though. I think they were the same, one and the same. Not sure though. My daughter found a 2-inch long by 1.5 spear. Head down at this river. Our spearhead down at this river. We go to. I'm so proud of her. And yes, that's called electroculture. We can get super creative with it. Fire. Yeah, they said the vegetables also double the yield too. Like you'll get like results in your garden by like the second week because it's supposed to be, the ground is supposed to be real good for the vegetables. It's supposed to be super healthy for them. Nicole was good. Rainwater was good. We got another wrench in the house. Wesley, what up? What up? Ace Ventura. Yo, Ace Ventura was a fire movie. Look. Hey, listen, man. Go back and watch both Ace Ventura movies, man. Those movies were actually really good, bro. They was fire, man. It's good movies. I'm on the level drunk and unconscious. Coherent. What movie? Yeah, I just explained it was the Godzilla versus King Kong 2. There's two movies. They fought in the first one, And then Mecha, I think it was Mecha Godzilla came in the first one. They had to double team him to jump him. I ain't gonna lie though, bro. I still got Ultraman smacking Godzilla around. I don't care what none of y'all say. Ultraman will give Godzilla them hands. Who want to bet some money? I got Godzilla smacking Ultraman smacking Godzilla around. Facts. Oh man. All right, let's get to some of these videos. Man, we got a lot of stuff to cover. I ain't gonna make this. This is not gonna be a super long video today. I'm gonna try to keep it succinct. You know what I'm saying? But we're gonna get to it. Where do I start? Man, I got so much goddamn videos in here. All right, let's start here. Let's talk about video games, man.
Apparently, if you play video games the wrong way now, the FBI will arrest you. They'll do what? This 45-page FBI document details how the government will now arrest you if you play video games the wrong way. Does the wrong way mean? So if you set fire to a forest in Minecraft, that means you are now committing an act of environmental violent extremism. Or by forcing your pals to work without rest or food in Pal World, you'll be arrested for the exploitation of animals. That's what they mean by the wrong way, and no, I'm not joking. These new rules were put in place because of the US Government Accountability Office report stating that 20% of adult gamers and 15% of young gamers are being exposed to white ideologies in online games. Again, I'm not joking. So if you like spreading democracy in Helldivers 2, then congratulations. You are now on the DHS and FBI's list of extreme gamers and will be investigated further. This means all of your party chats, messages, past transactions, and in-game actions will be closely monitored. Follow before I get cancelled.
Man, so they even cracking down on video game players now. How crazy is that? How insane is that, man? They cracking down on video game players. Yo, remember the pandemic 2020? And I don't know how many of you even play games, but I had PS4 and I had Grand Theft Auto 5. And dude, listen, that's the most packed ever since the release Grand Theft Auto 5 had been when the pandemic happened and stuff started shutting down. You know what I'm saying? Everybody and their mother was on Grand Theft Auto. Everybody. It was crazy. Like the damn wait to get in was literally probably about like 10 minutes to get inside of a room to play, you know? And then you had these groups of people who would do like heists and missions together and stuff like that, work together. And you know, you got your lockdown. I think they called it a quarantine crew is what they called it. So we had a group of like 8 people and we would do like heists and all that stuff. It was awesome. As a matter of fact, some of the guys who were from the heist are probably actually watching this video. What it is, yeah, because some of them followed the YouTube. But yeah, we used to play back in the day, and you know, you had dudes that was trolls, man. Some people would just get on and just troll. They would just destroy stuff, man. Like you would just be on there relaxing, trying to play the game with your boys, trying to do a mission and get some money. Then you had these dickheads come through in a freaking Harrier jet and blow the whole block up and take you out in the process. It's a whole lot of craziness. But yo, so guys like that will probably end up on a DHS list for a video game. And this is all going as they creating all this legislation for a reason. Yo, they're gonna make that what is that Facebook app, what is that app called, Metaverse? They're gonna make that metaverse so advanced it's gonna literally feel like you're real inside the metaverse. And you put that thing on your head, you're not gonna know the difference between you and the character. So that's why they're starting to create this legislation here and there. They're making excuses for it, like, oh yeah, we basically had to do that because we noticing that a lot of people have been exposed to the wrong kind of thing. But you know, they're creating these things to set the ground rules for when the future comes and you literally have society. Shit gets too expensive. People can't go on vacations anymore. You know what I'm saying? Because the economy's upside down, or people for whatever reason don't even want to leave the house. Maybe they just got too damn lazy. You know, you can literally order fast food through an app on your cell phone now. You ain't even got to get up and get the damn food back in the day, at least you had to go out to your car, get in your car, start it, go down to the freaking McDonald's and pick up some poison, and then get out of your car and eat it. Now you could just be a fat ass and stay home. You ain't even got to go outside no more. That's the crazy part about it. You don't even have to leave your house. And you can order this fast food and it can bring it right to your house. How much more convenient is it going to get? And it's going to continuously get more convenient because as technology gets better, people start to rely on technology too much. And when that happens, people start to forget how to function regularly. That's why you got a bunch of people out of shape. That's why you got so many overweight children with attention deficit disorder, ADD, be eating all this candy and crap and stuff they're not supposed to be eating, chips. You know what I mean? You got to lower that intake for them children. That, and then the jabs that they took from birth. That's another contribution to the problems they're having. You know what I'm saying? These are health issues. So with that said, man, how much more lazy is the world gonna start getting to the point where, like, yo, I don't even want to leave the house to go on vacation. I'm gonna just put this headset on. I'm gonna take off a week from work, and I'm gonna just sit there with this headset on for like 10 hours a day. You're gonna have the guys that don't get no women or something like that. They're gonna have the X-rated joint where they're gonna be, if you watch Demolition Man, they told you what was gonna happen in Demolition Man. You can look at some of the videos back in the day and some of the movies, and a lot of that stuff came true. So you can look at those and you can actually see exactly what's coming in terms of circumstance, But they told you with Demolition Man what was gonna happen. You got a situation where people don't even touch for whatever reason. They don't want to touch because germs and stuff like that, or there was some kind of virus that came out, and people don't want to physically touch each other. So as a result, they start using these machines, and then the machines themselves they simulate what's actually happening in the bedroom. The stuff's coming. So they start to lay these ground rules down, man. Interesting information. You can just look at the way they're starting to move, and you can pretty much determine what direction they're going in next. Let's talk about LifeLock, man. Let's talk about LifeLock. Look at this guy. This has to been one of the biggest epic fails I've heard.
CEO put his own social security number in a national commercial for his cybersecurity company. And as you may have guessed, it backfired big time. Todd Davis is the co-founder of LifeLock, an identity theft protection company. He wanted to prove that his service worked, so he risked it all by putting his real social security number in a commercial for everyone to see. After the commercial aired, he had his identity stolen 13 times. People took out multiple loans, opened phone lines, and ordered gift baskets all under his name. On top of that, his company was fined $12 million by the FTC for deceptive advertising. But surprisingly, LifeLock still has more than 4.5 million users. This CEO put his own social security.
All right, so my man tried to go all in. He believed in himself and put his information out there, and supposedly had a social security number, LifeLock. And they always offer you the LifeLock, like with the I know after the whole thing happened with the Equifax data breach, they were like, oh, we can set you up with LifeLock so you don't have to worry about this happening to you anymore. So this guy tried to do that, and they ended up getting all this information anyway. That was crazy. Damn. And they was moving on it too, because he had a truck riding around town with a social on there. Wild. Yeah, he ended up getting all kinds of, and it's still out there. So, it's probably still happening to a degree. Unless he fixed the LifeLock thing, got it straightened out, and got it so that his stuff's actually protected now. Hilarious. All right, on to the next one. Now, let me know what you guys think about this right here. So this is I've heard quite a few people saying that seed oils are what reacts to the UV rays that cause damage to your skin and other kinds of damages. I'm curious to know what you guys think about this.
Who wears glasses should listen to this video. So ultraviolet light is dangerous. This is what they tell us. We should avoid it at all costs. We live in houses with no ultraviolet light. We leave our houses and we put on glasses, contacts, and sunglasses, which block the UV light. We drive in cars that also block the UV light. We work in offices which receive no UV light. Then we turn on lights that have no UV light. And then finally, we take a break in the sun and we put on suntan lotion, which blocks the UV light. And we look at the benefits of UV and we see UV light activates vitamin D. You don't need synthetic, non-absorbing vitamin D supplements. Also helps with lowering blood pressure. Also helps the heart, the arteries, and cholesterol. It also assists in weight loss, which is a $1 trillion industry, helps with skin conditions and other diseases, and then it also helps to boost melatonin levels so that you can sleep better.
What did you guys' thoughts on this? Because I'm curious to know what you guys think. Because I've heard this a few times, but I never actually really delved into it. But do you guys think that seed oils are actually what is attributing to that issue? I'm very curious to know how you guys feel about that. I will say this: going out in the sun at certain times of the day is more dangerous than certain other times of the day. So if you're looking at the sun gazing early when it's first coming up or when it's going down, the sun's coming up or setting, and the sun's not at full power, so to speak, you don't tend to get as much damage to your eyes or damage to your body as you would get if you tried to go outside at like 12. High noon is what they call it, where the sun is actually the highest and the strongest. Curious to know if it's just the sun's being outside at a certain time. Because I'll tell you, when I went to the Philippines, the children that were out in Boracay, they were still outside when the sun was up at about, I want to say, 12 o'clock. They were still outside. And a lot of people, I tried to hang with them like, oh, shoot, they outside. I'm good too. Man, let me tell you something. That sun beat the hell out of my ass. I'm already kind of light anyway. So, like, I figured, let me get this base tan real quick. Get the base tan. Once you get the base tan, I'm good. So I got the base tan or whatever, and I tried to stay out there with them. But they was dark. I mean, they were like, these people, they looked Asian, but they were like really, really dark. Like, you would have thought they was African if they had their hair wrapped up or something. But 100%, they were still outside playing in the water. So it wasn't, they knew that the sun wouldn't bother them, I guess. And it could have been a situation where maybe their diet is better out there. Maybe they're not eating as many seed oils, or maybe they're just used to it. They've been out there all the time living on an island, them children out there playing all the time and, doing all that cool stuff. So they're outside. So I'm like, shoot, if they out here, I'm going to stay out here too. People like, yo, you should probably get out of the sun. I said, nah, I'm in the water. I'm good. I'm over there chilling. No, sir. Ended up getting a mean ass sunburn. It's crazy. Mean ass sunburn. It lasted probably about 4 days too. My skin was peeling like freaking goddamn. I look like a damn mutant, like one of the X-Men or something. I think sunscreen lotion does more harm than good. Absolutely. Absolutely. Listen, I agree with that. I always tell people like, yo, you'd be better off not even using the sunscreen. You might as well just cover up for real. If you're gonna be using those GMO seed oils and every fucking absolutely. You're gonna find peanut oil, what is it? Sunflower oil, canola oil are the top 3 ones that they use. But yeah, there's seed oils in every damn thing, and I honestly probably believe the seed oils has something to do with limiting your pineal gland ability. Probably has something to do with that as well. I use coconut oil or tallow while I'm in the sun. Tallow, huh? I heard about people using tallow to eat, but I never heard about people using it on their skin. Never heard about people using coconut oil on their skin either. I didn't know that was a thing. Seed oils are horrific. Oh, absolutely. They ain't every damn thing, no. Literally. So, what's up, Ray? Sun gazing is the best to do in the last hour of the day. Doing it in the first hour of the day is too harsh for the eyes since we just woke up after sleeping many hours. That's an interesting point of view. Never thought about it that way. Very interesting. Even the vegetable oils are probably fake. Facts. GMOs, you know what I'm saying? genetically modified organisms. Darker the skin, the more protection. The closer you get to the equator, the darker skin the people have. That's facts. And a lot of people don't realize the only reason some people are relatively lighter than the others is depending on their altitude. You know what I'm saying? If you look at the Caucasians who went to the Caucasus Mountains from Africa, the reason they got that light was because they had left to go to the mountains. And as a reaction, their body started to adapt to their environment. So their skin started to lighten up and their hair started to get longer. You know what I'm saying? And they were able to basically live in those conditions. Meanwhile, people, like he said, near the equator or near what you would call, basically the hotter areas of the earth, those people themselves are actually darker. And the reason for that being is because they're able, the melanin in their skin provides protection and allows them to absorb the vitamins from the sun rays. And their hair is also more woolly because the wool hair protects the scalp from the sun. So there's a lot of different, the body can adapt to just about anything. Now, check this out. If the body can adapt to altitudes, and I'm going to blow your mind, right? The body can adapt to altitudes high and low. What is the likelihood the body could adapt to water as well? We always think about like, yo, water is terrifying. And respectfully, you got to respect the water, okay? But what is the likelihood that the body could adapt to water as well? And would it have to be something that could just had to happen from birth? Because we know if children are born with dolphin-assisted birth, they tend to be stronger and have more abilities than the humans regularly do. They learn faster, physically stronger, quicker, more athletic, that type of thing. With dolphin-assisted birth. So when the children are born, they already know how to swim, which is another interesting fact. Children know how to swim already. You saw the Aquaman. What is not Aquaman, but the Black Panther movie, the second Black Panther, where they were talking about how Namor, you know what I'm saying, how they were born. His mother was a surface dweller or whatever. She was indigenous and she fled, and she ended up having him underwater, and he adapted to the underwater life because he was raised under the water. You know what I'm saying? So he was actually like superhuman, like with abilities and stuff like that. So that just makes me wonder, like, if our bodies are so advanced that they can adapt to circumstance, what is the likelihood they can adapt to water as well? Can't beat the lizard. I've seen really white people that retire and move to Florida and have leathery brown looking skin from sun exposure. Yeah, I've seen that too. There was a lady who used to walk outside. Man, I remember this lady. She was this girl's mother I went to school with. And I remember like 1990, and what was this? 94. The first time I probably saw her was like 93 or 94. And she would walk and walk and walk. She was walking for probably a solid 25 years. And she'd be out there in the sun, no matter how hot it was. She'd be out there going for a walk. She was really fit Caucasian lady. She had this really blonde hair, like blonde streaks with brown. And her skin was like real, you could tell it was like leathery brown because she was always outside walking. It was crazy because I was like, dang, I said, yo, or if skin cancer is a thing, how come she can be outside all the time and she ain't never stopped going outside? You older lady too. Nobody could answer the question. Now, hold on, I thought skin cancer was like real hard on, supposedly lighter skinned people. How is it that this Caucasian lady, and I knew her daughter, her daughter was pasty white and she had blue eyes and she had freckles and all that stuff. She was a white girl, but she her mother was like brown skin. So I'm like, yo, how does skin cancer work if that's the case? How could she just be out here walking around all the time and she don't have no skin conditions? Like I said, man, that's when you start asking those questions and they don't get answers. Is when, as a child, you start to realize, hold on, man, everything ain't on the up and up here. Maybe these people don't know as much as they telling us they know, And when I say those people, I mean the adults, the people we supposed to be listening to that's educating us on things like that. Maybe they don't know as much as we think they know or they think they know. You know what I'm saying? Because I never got an answer for that from them. But that is 100% fact. People that retire in Florida definitely have that leathery brown skin. All right, let's move on, shall we? On to the next one. On to the next one.
This is imperialism. These are all the military bases the United States has around the world. You know, no other country has this. Just the United States has this. Nobody else does this. China, Russia, they don't have bases all over the world. Who does? We do, because that's how capitalism ends up. You have to use a gun to keep it going, and you have to become fascists, which is what Joe Biden did to the railroad workers when he crushed their railroad strike. That's called fascism. The stuff that you hear all the time on TV as fascism isn't. That was actual fascism, and this is why our country is going down the shitter, and we're ending like all great empires end. We're overextending militarily while we won't take care of our own people at home. We just sent $15 billion, which could take care of everybody here in the United States. We just sent it to Ukraine with no debate, no talking about it. And we just built another military base in Syria. We built 3 more in the Philippines just in the last couple months. That's where your money's going, because your government is 100% corrupt, not regular corrupt. It's 100% corrupt. This is called corruption. You see this? Do you know what this is called? This is called $1 trillion a year in corruption, because that's all this is. These people are there, these military bases are there to make sure American corporations can extract natural resources from these places. Look at all the bases we have outside of China. Look at this. Here comes South America, Central America. Look at that. Can you imagine if China had these many bases in South and Central America or anywhere?
Yeah, right.
Can you imagine if China had all these bases in the Middle East? Imagine.
We have to have those bases so they don't get those.
So they
bases.
don't get them.
Yeah. Don't you know there can be only one Jimmy? Didn't you see the Highlander?
No, I didn't. Oh. But that's where your money's going, and people are not upset. They want it.
My man's got an excellent point. Did you see all of those freaking military bases all over the and you know what's crazy? People say when they thank the soldiers, and I don't disrespect any soldiers because I know a lot of people went in there with their own expectations and reasons. You know, I know 90% of the soldiers I talked to that went over there for different reasons and found out they were not over there for the reasons they thought they were going over there. Let's put it that way. All right. So with that said, you look at all of those damn bases, and it's like, yo, who is really the one that's out here jerking motherfuckers around? Like, they got bases everywhere. For what? No, check. Hey, but look, now watch this, right? So suppose it's a situation where, because we know the U.S. is a corporation, right? It's a business. It's a for-profit corporation. Now, you know how businesses can have satellite offices in the U.S.? So not necessarily business, countries, so to speak. So you might have, Kosovo that might have a satellite office operating in the U.S., right? Suppose those military bases that we see all over the place, instead of a U.S. being controlling, suppose it's the other way around. Suppose that country is using that base to get a share of the percentage of the U.S. corporation, those stocks and bonds and promissory notes that you're signing, birth certificates that your parents are autographing, social security numbers, all of that stuff. Suppose that's how many bases they have determines on what percentage of the pie they get, because that is a multi-trillion-dollar industry. Like, yo, the trade for that is mind-boggling. Not to mention all the money that they send in all these other countries giving a piece of the pie. What if it's the other way around? What if it ain't even the U.S. really out here moving like that? What if it's the other countries got their hands all in the cookie jar, taking all of your damn hard work, Because listen, it's a corporation. Promissory notes are getting traded all over the world. The Uniform Commercial Code is universal. It's all over the world. They call it different stuff in different countries, but the principles are the same. Bonds and stuff like that are being traded. People ain't really using gold like that. Now, if you look at the countries that don't have any bases in them, Russia is one of them. I think China might have been on there too. But listen, China has their hands in the pie somehow. I can't figure out how China plays into this yet. But like that, they have their hands in something. So I can't put them completely out of the scenario yet. But these countries, they all got the bases there and they're conducting business. So they got the US bases there in order to have a piece of the pie in the country. So it could have been like, all right, look, boom, you want to have a satellite office in the US? No problem. You let us put a base on yours, we'll go ahead and do that. We can open up, some kind of trade line and you can get a piece of such and such, And every time you go to buy something at the store or something like that, every time you go to do US citizens go to do a 1040 or something like that, they paying taxes on that joint, which is going to these other countries. They invest in these instruments. You know what I'm saying? That's how you really got to look at it, because what it looks like is the US is all over the place taking everybody's stuff, which is not all the way false, But you got to really look at it critically. It's a corporation. It's a freaking corporation. Now check this out, right? You know how they say to soldiers and stuff like that, like, yo, thank you for your service and all of that good stuff. Yo, why they always say they over there protecting our freedoms? Wait a minute, hold on. Why the hell are we protecting our freedoms in Kosovo? What kind of sense does that even make? Like, why are we in Kosovo protecting our freedoms? How did our freedoms get in Kosovo? What are you talking about? You sound foolish right now. That type stuff. Let's talk about it. You know what I mean? And somebody just brought up an excellent point. Somebody said poppy field protection. Listen, let's put the pieces together. So we had military presence in Afghanistan, and we had military presence in all over the Middle East, basically. The two things the Middle East mainly have, well, I'm not gonna say the mainly have, but two of the biggest things that are exports are oil and poppy for medicine and for gasoline and petrol and petroleum and such, right? Now check this out, right? With a situation like that with the poppy fields, you got soldiers literally over there guarding the poppy fields. I told you about that situation with the guy that was in the army who was over there. He was like, "Yo, listen, we was over there, and for several shifts guarding poppy field. We didn't see any combat probably till like the third year or something like that of his tour. And he was just going into detail. I said, "Yo, that's wild. That's insane." And then check this out, right? With the poppy thing, they guarding the poppy fields they just took from them people, and we had a freaking epidemic of I can't say that word. FENTANYL. There we go. A big epidemic of that in Baltimore, especially of the F word. That people were getting mixed into their stuff that they like to use for recreational purposes to get themselves physically elevated. I'm getting good at this censorship thing, but yeah. So you got that situation. So how are these things not correlated? How do we have the U.S. doing this whole 9/11 thing, which we already know is some questions about that at best? All right, years down the road, you got soldiers guarding poppy fields over the Middle East. Now they got a reason to be over there, and then years down the road, we got an epidemic with people on drugs. People getting addicted to over the counter drugs. All these different M words that people are taking from doctors, getting addicted. Most of the people are on PILLS. People unhappy, depressed, and stuff like that. The economy is all over the place. The news is always bombarding you with negativity, and people are turning to those things for outs. It's crazy. There's so many moving parts to the whole entire thing. You know what I'm saying? Majority of Congress has dual citizenship. Absolutely. A lot of them got dual citizenship to Israel. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Remember the guy that was sitting on his soapbox and he got the video got removed multiple times from and Yusuf El got his page shut down over talking about that. Like a year ago, they shut down his YouTube because he started talking about that joint. He started talking about the juice. But yeah, they shut his joint down. But yeah, 100%. Facts. Correct. Right in the cookie jar. I was there when they were passing out special citizenship to immigrants. Damn. Yo, how about it, man? What is really going on? South Florida here, and I like to use this oil blend if I'm using anything for extended sun exposure. Beach days, sweet almond, coconut. Okay. My man got a remedy, and it's about to be summer too. I'm writing this down, and I'm gonna hold you accountable if it don't work. No, I'm messing with you, bro. I'm definitely gonna write this down though. So he says sweet almond, Is it coconut oil or just coconut? I guess coconut oil is, I guess, what he means. And then olive oil, avocado, carrot seed, rose hips, other oils. Okay. I'll look into that, man. Thank you. Appreciate it. I think I could have been, I think it could have be even more sinister. Excuse me, I can't read today. God damn. I think it could be even more sinister, like enemy countries could be in on the take. Yeah, absolutely. Listen, bro. And when they say other countries like North Korea and stuff like that are enemies or something like, I don't believe any of that stuff. I think they're all. I mean, on a public level, yes, they're all like, oh, we don't like each other. But like, the talks underneath the table, they're all working together, man. All of them are working together. I don't believe that any country specifically beefing with another country because they're all rich. They all getting money. They all trying to make each other, you know, uh, partners and stuff like that to be able to move around more freely. Those type of things. Deals get done under the table all the time. That's all I'm saying. Did you hear about the president of Iran along with the prime minister plane crash? Sounds suspicious. I did not. That's crazy. The president of Iran and the prime minister? Sheesh. Nah, I didn't hear about that, man. Yep, Air Force caught the Army moving the Bobby Brown a few times. Yeah, yeah, the Bobby Brown. Yeah, ain't that what happened with Frank Lucas? Frank Lucas was using the Air Force to move that white magic, blue magic rather. It was the blue magic. He was using the Air Force to move that. From what they were talking about in the movie, it's supposed to be a biography of the whole entire thing. Now, I didn't read Frank Lucas' story, but I did hear he was using the military because he had family in the military to move that white. How about that? I told y'all, listen, the dudes on your block, man, the dudes that got the 9mm on their hip, standing on the corner, whatever, like that, they ain't got no planes or boats. How you think the stuff is getting there? That's why they get slapped on the hand and released back out on the streets because they working for the corporation. They take a little bid or something like that, and they get right back out. It's a rotating door in them democratic cities. They'll put them away. Shit, I even seen them get out fast in red states. They back on the street. The fart tended all is bad in Dayton, Ohio. Rabbi Finkelstein. Damn. We know why U.S. is out there. We got Vatican, the Jesuits who operate in 112 countries, the British involved with finance. Yes, that's true. And U.S. police in the world so they can continue their control. Y'all, I think it might be multiple pieces to it, though, right? It might not just be that simple. You know what I'm saying? It's multiple pieces to this puzzle. Because we got to ask ourselves, right? All right. This reality is a duality. This reality operates in balance. If we can be sure of anything that we know, this reality operates in balance. For one side that's doing something, there has to be another side. If one side is out there moving around like dirty, like we think they are, there has to be repercussion for it. So how are they able to do this for so long and not face any karmic debt for this? That's why I'm saying, it might not be as simple as we think it is. You know what I'm saying? It may not be as simple because they can't just be doing this for 400 years and not face any repercussion. It doesn't. This reality does not work like that, man. Everything has to be balanced. So it's got to be more to it than that. It's got to be. Rodman, Rodman lead negotiator Dennis Rodman. Dennis Rodman was a wild boy, man. All the respect in the world for Dennis Rodman. My man said, look, I don't care what y'all say. I'm going to North Korea and I'm going to talk to these dudes. As soon as they get out there playing, they're like, yo, come in my office, man. Yo, come to my office real quick. One time for the one time. They try to get this man to talk. He played ball, though. Literally and figuratively. They got on his ass. They probably was threatening to take stuff away from him. Frank Matthew. Yeah. Frank Matthew. Okay. I thought it was Frank Lucas. Black Pope, Arturo Sosa, since Adolfo Nicholas died. Great Pope Pepe Orsini, White Pope Pope Francis, Jorge Mario Bergoglio. Yeah, I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. I don't know a whole lot about the popes, but I heard there's different ones though that's not available for public eye. Word on the street, PD's father was taken out for being an informant in the Frank Lucas case. I think I heard something about that years ago. He was tied in with the case or something like that. I heard something about that years ago, and then they said, a lot of these dudes that are in power, man, they got there because their parents were already somehow connected with the government, or they might have been, if you look at a majority of the rappers now, either they got somebody already in the industry or they got military that's already real high ranking, because we got to start talking about entertainment, we got to talk about CIA, we got to talk about psychological operations. All of those things play a factor. You know what I'm saying? So they put somebody in there who they know they can control. So yeah, that plays a factor 100,000%, I would say. All right, take a look at this right here. I'm gonna drop this, and I ain't even gonna say nothing about this because I can't. But I want to know y'all thoughts on this. Y'all gonna have to get on the y'all need to get on the Patreon for me to talk about stuff like this. Y'all need to get on the Patreon, man. On Tuesdays, it's $5 a month. It's not expensive. It's real cheap. I set it low so everybody can come on in and join the conversation. When we talk about things I can't talk about on YouTube, and this will probably be one of the topics. All right, take a look at this. Oh, hold on. Don't tell me they took it down. Hold up. Let me get this straight. Hold on. They might have taken the video down. No, we good. I see. We good. I got it loaded. All right, let me share it. All right. Listen, I ain't touching that with a 10-foot pole. So don't ask me nothing. All right. I'm just showing a video. And let me tell you something. All right. Somebody- hey, yo. Hey, that caught me off guard, yo. You a wild boy. You, you, you a wild boy, dude. You ain't gonna get me, man. F that. He tried to get me to say it. I ain't saying that. Yo, that's wild. My man said that. Hey, look. I'm just saying, all right? I'm just playing a video. That's all I'm doing. All right now. So with that said, man, what do y'all think? I'm not reading that either. I'm not reading none of this. You can't make me read that. I played the fifth. Oh man, yo, but you know what's crazy? Um, Back in the day, for those of you who don't know, theater productions were done predominantly by men. I don't know exactly what year, but probably around when Shakespeare was doing theater. Both roles were played by men. So you had the woman roles that were played like by men in drag and men in tights and stuff like that, and then you had the man roles that were played by men. You know what I'm saying? So you tend to fill in the dots or connect the dots. You know what I mean? Fill in the blanks, if you would, with stuff like that. And we know the world is a stage, so there you go. There you have it. Yeah, and real fam. Yeah, yeah. That's facts. Listen, man, there's a lot of weird. The crazy thing about Victoria, uh, was it Queen Victoria? I think, or was it Queen Victoria? Is it the story called the store called Victoria's Secret? They said, "Yo, Victoria's Secret was that nobody was supposed to talk about her secret. Her secret was that she wasn't even a woman. That's the secret. That's Victoria's Secret." And there was a rumor going on about that, but that rumor turned out to be facts. I read it in some books. That was Victoria's Secret. The store Victoria's Secret is literally women going in there to buy stuff for reasons. For reasons. All right. And y'all know what the reasons are. God damn it. Mona Lisa is another one. And people say the painting is strange. The painting is very strange because you're trying to figure out what the hell you're looking at. That's facts. There you go. Listen, it's a tradition. And which lead now look, let me ask you a question. I don't want to hear no biasness, all right? Because a lot of y'all Trump dudes, y'all get on here acting brand new. And I'm not blaming anybody specifically, but all right, we're not going to take sides. Does Melania look like she would have been on that video? I would say yes. She looks a little exaggerated to me. You know what I'm saying? Like woman, woman, woman. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, all right, chill out, bro. We know what we're looking at. You know what I'm saying? So the question is that one of them? And we know these dudes are all actors. You know what I'm saying? We got to ask questions. Yo, knock it off, Lawrence. Oh man, Joe got me over here coughing. God damn. He's a wild boy. Oh boy. 100%. 100%. Yep. There you go. There you go. Now that's what I'm talking about right there. So now we got to ask questions about what part does dude play in? Because if he doing the same thing they doing, what makes him any different? Dude's a puppet too. The whole show is entertaining, and people are taking sides on the movie they watching. But yo, at the end of the day, my man is playing by the same rules they playing on. So how much different could dude actually be? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, he represents an idea. He represents an idealism, and they be the main ones talking about Big Mike. They be the main one. Big Mike, Big Mike. Oh, but check this out, bro. Listen, look at the history of presidents. What do you really think is so much different about him that is different from the rest of them? And a lot of the stuff that might have got exposed by QAnon is probably facts. It's probably facts. But yo, but listen, how much more of it do we need to look at to realize everything is a screenplay? That's what I'm saying. And listen, I respect the Trump guys because they really genuinely want the United States of America to be a better country, which I agree. United States of America was a better country at a particular period back in the day. You got a lot of indigenous Americans that'll say, when was America great? Look, here's what I'm gonna say. Great, I don't know about great, but I'm gonna say better because back in the day, my grandfather was able to work a freaking factory job and support a house of 7 children with a wife who didn't work for several years. Had 2 cars, no, had 2 cars, was paying the mortgage for the house, and was able to take vacations off a factory job, blue collar worker. That's what I would say when America was on top of its game. When we had factory jobs, you used to have factory jobs in Detroit. Men will go work at and be able to afford a whole house. They can have as many children as they want because they can afford them. You know what I'm saying? Now the factory jobs ain't even available. And if you get an Amazon job, the most you might be able to get is smashing your coworkers. That's about it. You ain't getting like no serious money like back in the day. You're not gonna be able to support a family of 8. It ain't gonna happen. So I would say, yeah, in terms of economy, it's had its propaganda has played its part, and there's been a lot of racial tension involved. Governments played a excuse me, the government's played a factor in that too. But the bottom line is, the jobs and the economy was in a much better condition than it is now. We can't deny that. We can't deny it. I mean, my uncle told me stories. He got his first Pontiac GTO. He went down to the dealership and he told them his father was working at Bethlehem Steel and all the brothers were working at Bethlehem Steel. So he goes down to, they say, hey, you need to go down to, if you need a car, you need to go down to the Pontiac dealership down to, I can't even remember where he said that place was. It was in the city though. He said, yo, you need to go to the Pontiac dealership and go holler at them because they giving deals to people who work at the factory. So he says, oh, really? All right, cool. So he went down there and saw a green GTO. I tell this story because he's telling me this every day when he's working for me. So he goes down to the spot and he says, yeah, I'm interested in that GTO on the parking lot. He said, oh, yeah? Okay. You got a job? He said, yeah, I got a job. He said, where you work? Oh, I work up at Bethlehem Steel. Really? He said, yo, as soon as he told him he worked at Bethlehem Steel, they brought him coffee. They offered him the hot towels for his neck and stuff like that. They was treating him like a king up in there because it was a guaranteed sale. If you worked at Bethlehem Steel, they just verify your employment. That's guaranteed. They give you the car, give you the keys, let you test drive it. He walked out of there with that GTO. He was happy as hell. You work at Bethlehem Steel, guaranteed. They know you got money. They know you can afford it. Back then anyway. Now it's a different ball game. But yeah, that was a thing. Man, Lonnie. He went to their parties and weddings. He's just funnier. The president is just the head of the corporation. Still need to get the spending under control. Agreed. Have you seen George Clooney's wife? No, but I seen Stacy Keibler, who he used to date. And I'm gonna say this, all right. If Stacy Keibler is batting, I would be surprised if Stacy, because I remember I used to watch wrestling and Stacy Keibler was something else. He used to get my blood pressure up. But god damn. You know what I'm saying? Her and Trish Stratus was bad as hell. I used to like Jacqueline too. Jacqueline was bad too, bro. Jacqueline was tough. I never really liked Sable like that. Sable she had an old face. She had a nice body though. But no, I didn't see that. I did not see that. Chuck Schumer's old lady. Yo, how many of them know? How many of them actually are playing in that position? You know what I'm saying? How many of them are playing in that position? That's the question I got to ask y'all. How deep does it go? Like, what level do you have to be in order to be, move around and to be seen or have some of that power they got? Because they got power, status, money, all of that. And with the stroke of a pen, they can get a lot of stuff done. Just them being at a function can get stuff done. So that's what I'm saying. Like, yo, at what point, how deep do you got to be in it to not do that? You know what I'm saying? Is there levels to it? Like, if you just coming in, is it like, all right, well, you just be an intern. You ain't got no lady yet, so we don't know about you. We're gonna keep you out until you demonstrate that you can be trusted, and then we're gonna get some dirt on you type stuff, and then we're gonna let you in type deal. That's how it works with them type of functions and meetings. You know what I'm saying? All right. Told you I was gonna keep this short today. We at an hour 16. I'm gonna go ahead and slide off, man. It's great talking to y'all tonight. Thank you guys for tuning in. Y'all made me laugh tonight, man. I'm telling you, the more you start to look at this stuff, the weirder it gets. It never gets less weird. So there you have it. I am A6, the 4 National Board National. Thank you for tuning in. We'll be live and direct on Tuesday on Patreon. If y'all want to hit on that Patreon, look in the description. Do that. Go ahead and sub, get the tier 1, and we can chop the game. Make sure I hit the like button on the way out. Thank you for engaging in the conversation. It's been great. It's been real. In the meantime, take it easy. And remember, the path to freedom is through our bravery. Peace.